A family van is often associated with a panel van that's been smartened up and given some more chairs and maybe an aspirational name like the Multivan. But this is no longer a transporter-based multivan, it's completely different, says Volkswagen.
The Volkswagen Transporter happened by accident just after the Second World War, when a Dutch businessman was visiting the Wolfsburg plant and stumbled upon a makeshift transport vehicle based on the Beetle. Since 1950, we saw 6 generations of the Transporter, mainly utility vehicles with some passenger and recreational variants as well. This changes with the introduction of the T7 Multivan. Until 2023 or 24, the T6 will remain the working men's option, with the exception of the T6.1 Multivan with a 204 horsepower diesel and 4-motion all-wheel drive. In 2 years or so, along with the T7 Transporter, the T7 Multivan will also get a new plug-in hybrid system with all-wheel drive. The T7 Multivan is made on the MQB platform, the same that underpins VW models from the Polo to the Passat. One of the selling points is of course greater comfort, but more importantly, VW engineers were able to install all the modern safety and assistance tech, as well as some new drivetrains.
The T6 Transporter and the T6 Multivan were available in 2 wheelbase lengths and hence 2 body lengths. Now the T7 Multivan has fixed 3,124mm wheelbase. Its length is either 4,973mm or 5,173mm, with the extra 20 centimeters being a longer overhang in the back.
The previous Multivan had 3,000 or 3,400mm wheelbase and 4,904 or 5,304mm length. This means the T7 is slightly larger than the short wheelbase T6, but significantly smaller than the long wheelbase T6. Is that good or bad? It's up to you to decide what you actually need. This is the short body, meaning about the length of an Audi A6. That's still a lot of car. Other minivans look like Tonka toys next to the T7. The van can be ordered with one of several interior configurations, and this will impact the utility, especially if you want to take advantage of the boot space.
The short body has 469 litres of boot space behind the third row, and that's from the floor up to the roof. 763 litres in the long body variant. 1,850 litres and 2,171 litres respectively behind the second row, and 3,670 and more than 4,000 litres behind the third row respectively, obviously.
With the seats in the third and second rows removed, the short body has 2,425mm long cargo area and the long body has 2,625mm. Cargo area height is over 131 centimeters, almost 135 with the panoramic roof, but just remember 130 centimeters. And 2 of my own measurements, the cargo area width in the narrowest place is about 120 centimeters and around 160 centimeters diagonally. The minimum cargo area length behind the third row of seats is 46 centimeters by the floor in the short body and 66 centimeters in the long body. Resulting boot volume to the window line is about 380 and 580 liters respectively, and if there was a parcel shelf installed, I estimate about 300 and 400 liters underneath it, respectively of course.
In the place where the parcel shelf would be installed, there are 2 shopping bag hooks on either side, and one of the boot lights doubles as a torch. There are also very bright lights up here on the tailgate, and the tailgate, fortunately, can be opened and closed electrically. And that's great, especially for somewhat shorter people who may have problems reaching and pulling on this rather heavy tailgate. So, where's the button? Here it is.
Depending on the spec and powertrain, the load capacity is between 683 and 915 kilograms, so a fully loaded multivan weighs less than 3 tons. The van can tow between 1600 kilograms and 2 tons.
The sliding rear doors on both sides can have soft close or be electrically operated. In the base spec you have to slam them properly. This is the soft close version. Let's see how soft it is. I apologize to the seasoned multivanners who may find the following information obvious, but this review is also for people who may be considering a car like this for the first time. I'm referring to the seating configuration. As standard, the T7 Multivan is offered as a 7-seater with all the seats facing the front of the car, like in this car. So we have 2 seats in the second row and 3 seats in the third row. You can also specify a 6-seater with 2 seats in every row, or a single seat in the second row and 3 seats in the third row. All seats are still facing forward. And then there is a face-to-face configuration with 2 rear-facing seats in the second row and 2 or 3 forward-facing seats in the third row. If you're wondering why not simply turn these seats around, it's because not all the seats have built-in seat belts, like the middle seat in the third row. For example, in this version, the second row seats use seat belts mounted on the C-pillar. And you can't cheat the system because in order to remove the seat, you first need to fold the backrest. And once the backrest is folded and you turn the seat around, you cannot raise it back again.
In this car, only the middle rear seat, which has an inbuilt seat belt, can be mounted facing the opposite direction. Take this under consideration when speccing your car. You'll also have to pay attention to things like armrests depending on where you want the seat to be placed. You'll find all this in the configurator, but better consult a salesperson before you sign the order. The seats can slide all over the car, but in the short body, if you need more boot space, legroom for the passengers soon becomes an issue. Less so if you're carrying kids, more so if adults are your main passengers. By the way, all seats in the second and third row have ISOFIX anchor points. Door pockets in the second row and window sills in the third row contain USB ports. There are some drink holders as well. Under the seats you'll find storage. The seats themselves are some 25% lighter versus the previous generation, but they still come at between 23 and 29 kilograms, so removing or turning the seats around is not something just anyone can do. On the plus side, the seats simply click into the rail system, and once they do, sliding them is very easy. With the side seats removed, you'll easily fit a bicycle inside. In late 2022, there will be an interesting option for aspiring van lifers who are not yet ready to go full-out California. There's going to be this folding bed thing which fits in the boot behind the second row with the third row removed. It will then unfold over the second row.
And there's also this optional sliding table thing. Sorry about the sound, which VW is very proud of. When folded, it's a sliding center console of sorts with an additional cup holder, 3 cup holders actually, a phone cubby as well as some storage. And push this button, it pops up and it unfolds into this table. And you can go as far as have it partially open and slide it all the way to the front, so you can quickly reply to some emails while, I don't know, maybe recharging your PHEV Multivan.
The MQB changes are especially apparent in the front. I'm talking about the new virtual instrument panel and the infotainment system. Slowly I'm getting used to how it all works, although the infotainment system still isn't the fastest. At least this time it didn't crash on me.
What can I say? Volkswagen and BMW seem to be battling who makes a less intuitive, most touch-heavy infotainment system. This is what the future looks like. Some, like Mercedes, have done it well, and some, like VW, have done it the Sinatra way. Good luck finding the temperature settings at night. At least VW decided to leave physical buttons on the steering wheel, so you always know where the volume toggle is. Yay!
The driving position is very much van-like. There is a step to get in, and you sit like on a chair. There are two door pockets, with the lower one being large enough for a bottle, however, it's also too low, so you have to lean down to reach. And no, a mid-size water bottle won't stay in the fold-out cup holder. Behind the cup holder is a small cubby to drop your keys or wallet. Above it are two USB-C ports and a wireless charger. Unfortunately, it's not ventilated, and it should be, as wireless Android Auto draws a lot of power and a phone can quickly overheat, especially on a warm day.
Speaking of temperature inside, heating or cooling down this big an interior takes a lot of time and energy, especially as the panoramic roof doesn't have any sliding shade. It makes sense to use the VW app to condition the car, especially if it's a plug-in hybrid and it's charging.
By the way, if you're thinking about a PHEV, remember the charging port is on the right passenger side fender, the worst imaginable place if you have a narrow parking spot and you park front first. There are two glove boxes, both on the small side. But I like the dashboard design, it reminds me of an old thermos. Do you know what I mean? Another cubby is on top of the dash. Both seats have independent armrests and you can rest your other elbow on the rather wide sill.
The T7 Multivan is offered only in front-wheel drive, for now at least. There are several engine options. The 1.5 TSI 136 horsepower, a tough sell I believe, a 2-liter 204 horsepower TSI, which is a bit of an overkill, and a 2-liter 150 horsepower diesel, which is the obvious choice. And then there's the 1.4-liter petrol-based PHEV, with a system output of 218 horsepower. All cars are offered with DSG automatic gearboxes, mostly 7-speed, except for the 6-speed in this PHEV. I have a feeling, unless there are some good incentives to own a PHEV, you'll be buying that diesel. But let's say you need a large family car and you mostly do school runs and shopping on short distances, and vacation is rare or dealt with a different mode of transport. This is where the PHEV starts making more sense. This test car is a PHEV, or eHybrid as VW calls it, with a 13 kilowatt-hour battery that's gross capacity. Net capacity is only 10.4 kilowatt hours, which VW says is enough for up to 47 kilometers range. Realistically, with temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius, I never got more than 40 kilometers. But that's enough for most commutes. Also, if you have an opportunity to charge at work or during shopping, a full charge from a regular home socket takes around 5 to 6 hours, and if you have a wall box, it's down to 3 hours and 14 minutes.
According to VW press materials and spec sheets from several European markets, the 0 to 100 km per hour time is 11.6 seconds. I think it's either a printing error or an early homologation estimate, perhaps it's acceleration time in electric mode only, but when you floor it, the petrol engine will kick in. So, in hybrid comfort mode, I got 8.6 seconds, and in hybrid sport, I got 8.7 seconds. Let's disregard the fraction of a second error. That's still 3 seconds faster than what VW said in the press release.
Let's forget the 1.8 liters per 100 kilometers WLTP economy figure. I see two scenarios here. Either you charge every chance you get, and then you refill once a year, or you drive longer distances, and then the hybrid mode in the T7 Multivan uses around 6 liters per 100 kilometers combined.
Whenever possible, the car starts in electric mode. Impossible means empty traction battery or very cold traction battery, as in below -10 degrees Celsius. The traction battery can be recharged to a set level, and this level then can be maintained using the petrol engine, but that's not particularly efficient. If you want to recoup some energy, for example when you're coasting to a stop or downhill, pull the paddle shifter once. It's not one pedal driving, but it will get you a bit further.
And now let's talk about what the MQB platform means for the driver and the passengers. The T7 Multivan is more comfortable than your average van, including the T6 and the V-Class Mercedes, but it's still a large box with a rather long wheelbase, so no matter how stiff the engineers make it, it's not going to feel like a compact station wagon. Duh! Aerodynamics help not only with efficiency, but also keeping the noise down. Don't expect limousine-like silence, but as long as it's better than other vans, it's a win for the T7 Multivan. The car is very maneuverable, more than you expect actually. The turning circle is 12 meters regardless of the body length. That's between the curbs, because obviously if there are walls, the longer overhang in the long body will make turning around more challenging.
Maneuvering is easy thanks to a 360 camera. There are also systems we've seen in passenger cars, like automatic braking when reversing into an obstacle or emergency braking when turning left in front of an oncoming vehicle. There is also semi-autonomous driving. Adaptive cruise control keeps the set speed and distance from the car in front, and lane keeping assist keeps you in the middle of your lane. SatNav tells you about upcoming speed limits or junctions and suggests you get off the gas. All this tech we know from passenger cars, but now we also get it in a large van. Visibility is good, the seats are comfortable, and LED matrix lights keep the road ahead well lit without you dazzling other drivers. Prices of the Volkswagen T7 Multivan start at €44,839 for the short body 1.5-litre petrol. That's including VAT. €48,748 for the diesel, add €2,000 for the long body. For my reviews in English, I usually use German prices, but at the time of filming, prices for the PHEV in Germany have not yet been posted on the Volkswagen Nutzfahrzeuge.de website. According to Auto, Motor und Sport website, the eHybrid starts at €57,174. Based on the prices in other markets, including Poland, I estimate the price of this test car will be at least €65,000 in Germany, including VAT, and it's no consolation that nowadays the T6.1 Multivan is even more expensive.
The T7 Multivan feels very much like a normal, practical passenger car. It drives like a normal car, and it has controls like a normal car. And the cargo and passenger space arrangement options seem almost limitless. And that's a good thing, especially if your family just got bigger and you no longer fit in a Passat or an Arteon. The bad news is the current infotainment system, which in my opinion is a step down from what VW used to offer only a few years ago. And how do you like the new Multivan? Are you considering it to replace your current Multivan, or perhaps you're thinking to buy one because your family is expanding? Perhaps it's a car for your business. Let me know in the comment section. Come on, type! Let me know in the comment section below.
If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video, as it helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.